So I was thinking about something Roscoe Mitchell said, one of my teachers in college, and something he said in the context of improvising, both alone as well as in a group. He would warn us, or rather just advise us, that silence is perfect, and to remember that before we played any music or presented any music to the collective sonic space of what's happening. And I remember improvising in my younger years, or when I was like a teenager in high school and stuff, like feeling just this sort of bubbling insecurity, like I've got to make some sound, or I've got to play something cool right now. I have to be present sonically in the field forever and perpetually, and essentially make a lot of noise that is not necessary or serving the collective music that's happening. And it was only after years of improvising with different musicians in different contexts, in rehearsals and in performance, that I sort of found this place where silence is like the ultimate tonic. Silence is the happy place, the center of gravity that you can rely on, that is your friend in any musical situation, be it composition or improvisation. And that to make music or to improvise from an awareness of silence, which some would say doesn't even exist, but to create music from an awareness of silence and its inherent perfection and total presence, it just makes the music better. It makes the music more real, more alive, more conscious. The music becomes more conscious. You become more conscious of the music, as does everyone else in the band, because you're paying attention to what the music exists in, which is essentially, silence is to sound what empty space is to matter. So, you can't have a tree without empty space. So you can't have some rockin' jams without silence. So you need silence. And I was just thinking about this and thinking that I don't think this is something most musicians think about at all, is, what does it mean to be quiet and to create music from a place of acknowledging quiet. I don't know who said this, but they said you can, maybe it was Duke Ellington, I really don't know who said this, but they said you can tell the importance and realness of a piece by the intensity of the silence once the piece has ended. And it's I don't know if you've ever seen a performance like that where a piece of music ends and it was so amazing that people are even afraid to applaud because it was just so precious that you don't even want to interrupt what the music did to the feeling tone of the entire atmosphere. And I think another reason that most musicians are, this is not something really thought about in most musical contexts, is because in a lot of musical situations with performers, you're playing in loud areas. You're playing in a bar or a club, or you're playing in a place where, people are having dinner. There's people are on dates, talking to their significant other, trying to get laid. There is not really, unless you're playing in a concert hall, which can sometimes sort of have a it can just get ideologically and superficially stuffy in there. Like everyone's got a frickin' something up their bum, you know. But yeah, unless you're playing in a concert hall or a designated, like, this is a space for listening, or this is a space to really experience music uninterrupted by other things in life, like fine steak dinners, or, you know, a glass of wine, and what have you, you know, that, you know, music and silence, I think for some might even be considered opposites, or not, like they don't go together. But I think they do go together in a very happy way. What else am I thinking about? I'm thinking about, like, when I practice, you know, I'll work on an idea. So working on an idea, and, you know, I'll work on the idea for 10 to 20 minutes or something, and then I'll just sit there and be quiet with my instrument. I think being quiet with your instrument, you know, you've spent time with your instrument, you've produced some sound, made some music, worked on some difficult ideas, and then just sitting back and not making a sound. Just letting what you've done sort of settle into your neuronal networks. Appreciate the empty space of not doing anything. That's a happy place. Yeah, silence is the best. It's just like, I don't even like to listen to music that often. I'd rather just have it be quiet. Quiet's the best. But then there's like this whole John Cage thing, like there really is no silence. And yeah, I can dig, like, there's always something you can hear. If you find silence, you gotta let me know. Like, there's no situation in which there's total silence. There's just ever and ever subtler and quieter sounds. And I love those sounds, man. Those are my favorite sounds. Just like the itty little bitties. An anechoic chamber. You all know what an anechoic chamber is? It's a room where, for whatever reason, it's the quietest room in the world. Somehow, you know, the scientists at MIT or whatever university these things exist at, you know, it's like the ultimate soundproof room where sound sort of gets canceled out, and it's just the quietest room in the world. But even in there, you're going to hear things. You're going to hear your circulatory system. You're going to hear your nervous system. You're probably going to hear your heartbeat, hear yourself fart, right? Yeah, but I think you'll hear the electricity of your body. And it was alleged that people can't really spend too much time in there because they start to go nuts. I don't know, you get a little crazy. Maybe you need auditory stimulation to, I don't know, keep you sane. Keep you sane. So silence is perfect. This is I guess a little mantra or affirmation I remind myself whenever I'm playing. Like right now, you know, or whenever I'm improvising in front of an audience, that there ain't no need to always be making noise or to be just jumping on the making sound bandwagon. That silence is your friend. It's like a magical pillow. It's a magical pillow that you can chill out on, and that is gonna, if you acknowledge it, it will guide you in what kind of sounds to make, and you won't poop all over the perfection of poop sounds. You might just make the perfection of silence a little more obvious through what you play, which is a lovely thing. Yeah. Right, like 433, right? We know what 433 is, right? You ever played 433? You ever played that? I guess I'm always playing 433. Even right now, I'm playing 433. Check it out. I teach at 4, but it's 3:15, so I'm just chilling in my car. Not doing much. Just playing G chord. C chord. It's not a G chord though, this is a C chord. This is an F chord. B flat. Oh, where am I now? E flat? No, I don't think so. Because this is not a real guitar. It's a baby guitar. Anyway, any musicians listening to this, I encourage you to investigate your relationship with quiet and with silence. And especially in the practice room, especially in performance, especially when you're improvising, what is it like to fully acknowledge the emptiness that is silence and allow that to inform the music you're making? Because I think if we all did that, music would change quite a bit. We think we gotta make hella noise, but you ain't gotta make hella noise. Yeah, another thing I've noticed is that if you are intimate with being quiet and silence, when improvisations get way crazy, way loud, way intense, like wild, rollicking, free stuff, it's like coming from the center of the storm, which is totally quiet, right? Like, I remember one improvisation in particular with a very large ensemble where it was just crazy, and we had built up to this ridiculous crescendo of total chaos. But like from where I was listening and experiencing the music, it was like total quietude, inner stillness, peace, amidst like the room shaking with intensity. But internally it was quiet. It was just on the mountaintop. But the music was like just a force of nature. So yeah, Roscoe Mitchell. Silence is perfect. Silence is perfect. Is a groovy. Anyway. I'm gonna go. Thanks for listening. Peace.